All right, I would like to please turn it over to our wonderful guest for the day. We have Amy Stack here with us, and she is going to share some information about hashtags.
Hi, everybody. We're going to act like you've never met me before. I'm brand new. Today, I'm going to go over exactly what Kathy said. I'm going to go over hashtags. I get questions about them all the time, so I thought that'd be a great topic to go over with you guys today. If you haven't already heard, I've started a new online brand called The Social Stack, where I do all kinds of social media and marketing training. So you can find me on YouTube is where it started, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I have a blog. So I'm actually going to be sharing a blog article with you so you can get more information about hashtags if you'd like. But to start, I'm just going to share my screen and go over some recent posts I put out. And I'm going to do kind of a light overview, and then we'll see what questions everybody has, and we'll dig into those specific topics. Sound good? All right. Let me share my screen with you. Can everybody see that? Yep, I'm seeing heads shake. Good. All right. So there's a lot of misnomers about hashtags and confusion out there about what they are for. So one of the big things that hashtags are used for is to identify yourself and tag your company or your brand to a post or something that's out on social media. It's also a huge way for people to find you. And I don't think that people necessarily realize that a lot, that people can actually search by hashtags. And by using a whole group of hashtags, when people are searching for something that's a little more common and you have used your hashtag along with the one that's more common, you will also pop up in that search. So then people can start following your hashtag as well. Okay. So some of the tips that I have put out recently is that it's always good to have a couple of the top performing hashtags in your post. So you want to have like a nice little mix there. You want to make sure that you have some things that are popular so that you are showing up when people are looking for those more popular hashtags. If you only have things that have like nobody following or very specific to your company, it's gonna be a lot harder for people to follow you. So I have a list here that is some of the most popular hashtags. Love is the #1 used hashtag on Instagram. There's over 1 billion people following it and using it on a regular basis. So that's a little tip for you. Okay. And then these are some other popular ones. Instagood, Throwback Thursday, Women Crush Wednesday. There's all kinds of fun stuff out there. So that's a little bit about some popular hashtags. And then it never hurts to throw in a good old trending hashtag. A word of caution about that is you want to make sure that if you are adding a trending hashtag, that it's not something that might be detrimental to your brand or that there's any type of controversy about. Right now, there's a lot of people doing corona economy, social distancing, stuff about quarantine. So those are all relatable to our time right now. You want to make sure that when you are using trending hashtags that you're not using them when the trend is over because nobody's following them anymore and it makes that post more irrelevant. But it never hurts to jump on that trend wagon. All right. This is a little example of a local brewery that I pulled together because it's a really great idea to also incorporate hashtags that have something to do with your local area. Specifically for you guys, we're not, like Keller Williams is a nationwide international brand, but you and your specific brand is local. So it's good to tag local towns or Chicago, you know, stuff like that, to use local hashtags that people in your area are already using, so it makes it easier for them to find you and follow along with what you're doing and be more relevant. And especially if you're doing something with a company in the area, when you tag them in your posts, they'll most likely tag you back, follow you back, and you'll be able to share followers back and forth with each other. So using those local hashtags will definitely get you in front of that local audience and helps get a little bit more engagement. Then the next one I have here is you always want to put yourself first. So we always see lots of hashtags out there. I shouldn't say always. Typically you see several hashtags added to the bottom of a post, and it's important to put your hashtag first because it keeps you top of mind. You guys have heard me say that a lot. You can see in this list here, there's a whole bunch of hashtags. People might start reading a couple of them. They might not get all the way down to brand awareness. So by always putting yourself first, it's going to be the first thing they see, and they're going to start making those connections that you are associated with this great information that you're putting out. So definitely use your custom hashtag first. It's going to help build that familiarity and make it easy for people to engage with you. The other thing you want to do is, if you don't already have a custom hashtag for your business, you definitely want to create that. And there's a lot of resources out there for that. So if you want to create your own, awesome. If you need some help, there's companies out there that can help you kind of dive into your business and see what your goals are and create some hashtags with you. The key is you want it to be concise and you want it to be easy to remember. So my brand name is The Social Stack, so that's my hashtag. Simple as that, okay? And I did my Blackout Tuesday post. Here we go. So another good rule of thumb is using the right quantity of hashtags. So this will vary between social media platforms. On Instagram, the sweet spot is somewhere between 7 and 15. If you want to really hone in, it's probably 9 to 11 is a great amount of hashtags to be using. You definitely always want to use more than one, no matter what platform you're on, because like I said, all of those hashtags are different ways for people to find you. So if you're only using one, you're limiting the search fields that people can look for that you would show up in. So you definitely want to use more than one. And like I said, hashtags are very popular on Instagram and Twitter. People are using them all over social media, but those two are the ones that you're going to be seeing a lot more hashtags on. You'll probably see 2 to 5 or so on Facebook. Okay, we're going to keep moving along here. And then we have variety is the spice of life. So I've mentioned this a few times. You want to have lots of different hashtags. And something that a lot of people do, because I know I've recommended it to a lot of people, is to have a list of ongoing hashtags that you like to use. And I just want to make sure that you guys don't misconstrue that as using those exact same hashtags over and over. You do want to have a list that varies each time you're doing these hashtags. So yes, absolutely use your brand hashtag every single time right up front. However, by switching up the hashtags that are following it, it will help you reach out to wider audiences. If I'm using only social media marketing, and the social stack every time, I'm going to tap out that audience. So we want to add extra hashtags and vary them up and change them around so that you are not always hitting that same exact group of people. So like this photo I chose because it's a variety of different plants, so it went with my variety is the spice of life idea for this post, but then I was able to tag it with cute cactus. Nothing to do with marketing, but that's going to get this picture in front of more people. So there's a chance that people that like to look at cute cactuses might also want to learn about social media, and now I've just been able to get this post in front of them as well. So it's okay that it's something fun and not necessarily exactly real estate related or specific to this industry. So that's a little tip that a lot of people don't know about switching up those hashtags. It's definitely good to have a list of your common go-tos, but to absolutely keep some extra fun ones and change it up based on the content of the specific post that you're putting out. And then we have You're Not Alone. So like I said before, there are a ton of resources out there to help with analyzing the use of hashtags, to come up with the hashtags that you think or that should be used for your business. So there are a lot of social media strategists out there that you can reach out to if you want somebody who does this for like a full-time job, and they go and analyze all the data. They'll help you figure out what your target market is, who your audience is, and what those people are following. So they will be able to generate a short list of hashtags for you. They can also help you come up with your company hashtag if you're struggling with that as well. I know a lot of people actually talked about this at Family Reunion, and they said, you know, it's really just a one-time investment unless you're paying for a social media coach. But everybody that talked about it at family reunion was thrilled with it because they didn't have to spend the time to go do all this research on their own. The people that are social media strategists like this, they know what's going on with with trending, with what hashtags are most popular in which industries, and they can do the research and find out which ones will be best for your target market and your demographic and your goals. So that is definitely something to consider if you are really looking to up your social media game, is to work on your static hashtags so that you have a great list that you can rotate through all the time. And I'm going to pull up my Facebook page here. I lied, not my Facebook page, my blog post here, because I want you guys to be able to see, oh, I have the spinning wheel. My computer's loading. Apologize for that. While that's loading, I just want to say one more thing you want to do is make sure to keep it simple. So don't spend an hour trying to figure out what to do with all these hashtags, right? Keep your business up front. Switch them around every now and then. Keep some relevant, keep some local, because we are local businesses, we're local experts, right? So make sure you're keeping that your list nice and simple. Don't spend too much time on it. This is the blog that I've already created that's gone into depth, into detail with some examples and everything that we've talked about just now. So I'm happy to share this link with you guys. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat, but I just wanted you to see what it looked like. And then right at the top, I have common mistakes to avoid. So this is pretty much what we covered, but just as a little summary here, you don't want to use solely vastly popular hashtags because you'll get lost in the crowd then. You want to make sure you're not using outdated or controversial trending hashtags. It's great to use ones that are trending. Make sure it's relevant to your brand and it doesn't have a negative connotation with it. Again, we want to have that variety, so don't use only your custom hashtags because people won't be able to find you. So the opposite between using the vastly popular ones is that you'll get lost in the billions of people using the same hashtag, whereas using only custom hashtags, people don't know how to find you, so you don't pop up then. And then using the wrong amount, again, you want to use a fair amount of hashtags so that you do reach those cross populations of target audiences. And then you, again, don't want to use the same hashtag in every post. You want to use a little variety. So those are the most common mistakes I see people using. So I put those right at the top of the article. All right, I'm going to stop screen sharing here. And I will put the blog article link in the post, but I am happy to answer any questions or dig in a little more.
Maybe there's quite a few questions in the chat box.
All right, let me post my blog link in there. And if anybody wants to unmute, that's fine too. Here we go. All right, so I'm looking through the chat. I'm gonna scroll back up. Oh, there are a lot in here. Oh, Angie, where can you look for top used trending hashtags? So that's gonna depend on platform. One thing you can do is definitely Google it. On Instagram, when you type in a hashtag in the search field, it will tell you how many followers it has. So that's one way. If you're curious about looking at one specific hashtag, you can just type it into the Instagram search field and it will show you how many followers. But there's also a lot of social media companies out there. If you just Google trending hashtags, and there's some linked in my blog too that are some resources for you guys to find out which ones are popular right now. And then there's apps out there. There's one I use just called Hashtag. It's pink and it's free. They do have like a paid version, but you can just use the free version, and you can even type in like real estate and it will tell you which ones are the most commonly used for real estate. So that's a great question, Angie. Bobby says, do we know of a desktop app that allows me to post to Instagram instead of using mobile? Great question. So mobile, I mean, Instagram is very mobile based. It was designed to be used on phones. That said, a lot of us are trying to be proactive and time block and schedule this stuff out ahead of time, right? One of the companies that I like to use, they do have a free option, is called later.com, Later.com. It will let you schedule posts to Instagram. The free account does limit, I think you get 30 posts a month, and you can only do single image posts through the scheduler. If you upgrade to a pro account, you get more posts per month. You can schedule videos, you can schedule photo galleries, stuff like that. So that's a really good one. And then there are lots of platforms out there. I use Buffer. It lets us link several social media accounts, and it will post to Instagram several of those things automatically, and the ones that it can't post automatically, there's an app that goes along with it. So you get a little notification on your phone, and you push the notification, it opens up Instagram, the photo's already saved in your photo album on your phone, and all you have to do is hit paste, and the text that you've pre-scheduled will paste into that post as well. So there's just a little bit of a manual push you have to do. Instagram is probably the trickiest one to do pre-scheduled posting with, but Later and Buffer are ones I like. Cinch Share's a good one, and so is Hootsuite. So those are all ones I've used in the past. Good question. And I think Bobby's question was pretty long. Let me see if I got all of it there. And what is the privacy setting? Oh, okay, so Bobby, if I'm misunderstanding your question, please let me know, but he was asking what the privacy setting is to make sure that we're open to the public and searchable on as a hashtag. So if you're using a hashtag, anybody can search it. There is no way to have a private hashtag. You can have your account as private, but not that actual hashtag. So if you have a private account and you're using a public hashtag, you just won't come up in the result search for that public hashtag unless somebody is already following you and you've given them permission to follow you. Did that help answer your question? Okay, perfect, got a thumbs up, great. And let's see, it's 9:23. I'm happy to keep going with questions. Do you guys want me to keep going? Should we do announcements? There's a couple more questions in here. I just see nods, I'm gonna keep going. I have some of my most used hashtags saved in a draft. Oh, this is great, Angie, yes. Angie said she has some of her most used hashtags saved in a draft email so she can copy it over to her Instagram post. That's a great thing to do. Also on your phone, just create a note in your phone and you can copy and paste them as well. That way you don't have to retype them every time. That's a huge time saver. Great tip, Angie. And then there's a site that AJ shared that tracks most popular hashtags. Oh, but we forgot what it was. I'm sure if you Google it, you could find it. And then Mash said, are the hashtags specifically used with Instagram only, or can they be used with Facebook? Hashtags are all over social media. That's a good question. Just how you use them will vary from platform to platform. So again, you'll use the hashtags the most amount of hashtags on Twitter and Instagram, really higher on Instagram because Twitter has a character limit, but they really started on Twitter because it was a way to link people to different conversations. But you can definitely use them all over social media. It's not only on Instagram. And
Fabulous.
I think that was all the questions. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Amy. Insightful information, definitely. Things I've not delved into, and so hopefully all of you have learned some new tips and tricks today as well.